What's going on, guys? Another washed up meathead training tip video for you. I literally just answered some community questions. It's posted on YouTube. I want to say it was in the last video, but it depends when this posts. One of the questions was about using a reverse grip bench press. And I used to use it a long time ago. You can see that video to hear that. I won't go over that again. But anyhow, we have this angle grip bar, which we've been selling for who knows how long, 5 years, 10 years, a decade, whatever it is. We've not sold many. I think I said we sold like 40, which might be an overestimate. But now that it's in a video, give it a little bit of time. You know, other people will start making their version and they'll sell hundreds, but they won't tell you how to fucking use it. So the reason I made this bar was because I can't do a reverse grip bench press. And when I answered the question, I kind of forgot as to why, but I remember really quickly when I tried to grab it with the straight bar. It isn't so much the wrist. For a lot of people, it's the wrist mobility. They don't have the mobility to be able to do it. For me, it's just got some weird ass tension in the pecs. And since I've destroyed both of my pecs, there's not a lot of stabilizing muscle in that area. So it's just a really weird, not good feeling with the straight bar. But I did remember how well the reverse grip worked for me. So we created this angle grip bar, which I originally was gonna call a reverse grip bar, but didn't do it because I figured it was too targeted of a product for people, for it to actually sell. Little did I know it wasn't gonna sell anyhow. But that aside, there's some tips here with this bar, because I decided to use it because I haven't used it for a long time, and put it into my rotation for dynamic work for the next 3 weeks. So, you know, if you don't like dynamic work, think of it as technique work, think of it as just repetition work. When it's a different bar and something that I'm not used to, I'm gonna start with the safest possible way that I could do it. So an easy way to get acclimated to the bar. So I like to use the floor press bench for that, just to kind of, in case anything bad happens, which it's not because it's speed work, but just in case, I want to make sure that it's set up for that, because this is a weird bar. It does kind of move around a little bit. You'll also notice with the safeties that I have here, they're the strap safeties, I have them coming down at an angle. So that way, if it's to, you know, fall back towards my face, it's going to protect that, but it's not going to hit the strap down here because it's at that angle. With any bar that I use, when I put it in a rack or a bench rack, I always put the crock lock collars on first. I have a tendency to shift because of my past injury history, and this is why I'm a washed up meathead, right? And so I'm using a plate and a quarter and a couple chains per side. It's not a 45-pound bar. And as I was doing this, you know, I'm trying to think of what goes through my mind to be able to put into these stupid washed up meathead tips. A couple things were the setup, you know, because most people won't know the setup. And then when I unrack it, and this is kind of the same as when I was doing reverse grip benches, especially if you don't have a lift off. Normally I'm telling people to lat pull a bar out, you know, kind of strip the J-hooks to be able to get it out. So you lock into the J-hook so it's tight, and then just pull the bar out. It's one of the reasons why I don't like the J-hooks that are really smooth, or even have rollers. I don't like those. We tested that many years ago on a monolift, and we ended up taking the arms off really quick because it was just too much movement. You gotta have movement to be able to, or you gotta be able to lock yourself in. Some people like this shit, I don't, so just keep it with whatever that is. So I'm gonna slide it back and then pull it out, but you still gotta keep the lats tight. I'm also testing these new wraps that we got in. These are actually fucking awesome right now. They're not like the Mavericks that we used to have. These have a little bit of a different compression system with them. So far, I really like them. It's gonna take a lot more chalk, a lot more sweat, some cum, and all kinds of other shit on it to be able to see if we're gonna have it to be something that we're going to bring in. So watch for the things that I was just talking about. So you see it's back against the J cup, but then you got to slide underneath it more than what you typically would. And this is the same if it's a straight reverse grip. The lats are still tight. And that's I think my third set, and it is dynamic work, speed work, whatever you want to call it, repetition work. So they're feeling better each set, but I'm still going to keep the weight where it is. I'll progress it slowly over the next couple weeks to kind of lock it in and then see if there's any correspondence to my actual bench. If I have any other tips for y'all as I go out through the day, I'll film it. We'll see how it goes. Hey, here's another one. I don't know if it's actually in. It's not in the view. Some homemade shit here, right? Just me and a fucking camera or phone. Watch the chains. The way I set the chains up is I want the chain to completely deload at the bottom of the press and then come back on. Any chain that's still on the bar should just, in my opinion, should just be weight that's going to be on the bar, not actual chain weight. So when it's accommodating resistance, you actually want to accommodate the resistance. There are reasons to be able to hang the chains on directly and have them kind of floating, but that's not something that I'm looking for right now. So this tip that I forgot to put in the first one is just check out how the chains deload and come back on. All right, this exercise isn't really a JM press, it's more closer to like a rolling tricep extension. Not using the chains on this one because as my tricep comes back, it's getting stronger, and now I want to start loading the bottom part of the movement more so, where a lot of the tricep movements I've been doing up until now were with bands, chains, some kind of accommodating resistance to take a lot of the load out of the bottom of this thing. Another meathead tip here is I put another collar on the inside because I shift a lot when we start dealing with extensions, JM presses and stuff like that. So I don't want the plates to hit the rack again. On this one, it's just a matter of bringing it down and then leading with the butt of my hand first for the best tricep activation, I guess. That's where I feel it the most. And it keeps it off of that torquing area up in the shoulder and the pecs. You also need to, if it's a JM press, or using this as an angle press, you got to scoot out on the bench a little bit more so you don't end up hitting the J cups throughout the range of motion. The bar is on my chin at the bottom. About 1 or 2 reps shy of failure, a few sets with that. The biggest tip that I forgot was, main reason I'm doing this is because it was already set up and the bar's already there. So whenever you can use the same bar for multiple exercises and not have to go set up other shit, that's a meathead tip right there. Hey, check this out. For somebody that was just an ammonia cap person pretty much all my life, now I got this collection, the dark side, you know, the void, the dark side one, like kick you in the dick big time. The void is more like a training one. This extreme elf, this is like a holiday one. So you got like snow, right? And then peppermint. What the hell? We'll just see what it's like just out of the blue. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Oh man, I didn't expect that. Holy fuck. My eyes water. It's got a peppermint feel to it. It's definitely in the Christmas spirit. Oh my God. Holy fuck. It still smells like a fucking candy cane though. Oh shit. Holy cow. Oh, that's probably not a very good washed up meathead tip right there. Fuck. This is a washed up meathead tip or not. This is an exercise my training partner Todd Brock came up with on Sunday. And if you followed my history, you know my shoulder's fucked up, so I can't do overhead presses. So to give you an example of what my range of motion is for my shoulder, that's as high as I can get it. I might be able to push it to here. So to do the seated overhead press is kind of out of the whatever you want to say. I can't do it. Can't do the dumbbell presses, can't all do all this stuff. So with the jammer arms, what he had me try to do was to just lean forward into it. So it's not an overhead press, but I just lean into it here so I get that bottom range of motion and then press up through to the top. And right there I can get a full extension. If I start to come down a little bit more, I'm gonna lose that. But after doing a few sets of them on Sunday, I'm gonna keep this in my program a couple times a week. Just strengthen it, because man, it works the shit out of my front delt and medial delt. Not really so much the rear delt, but I'll do something else for that. And then over a period of time, I'm gonna see what happens if I bring the jammer arms down a little bit and see how close I can get to what would be an overhead press type range of motion. All right guys, here's another staple in my training, at least the upper body stuff during the week, is after the first couple exercises, those have longer rest periods because they're more strength based. After that, I start to pick up the pace and the tempo. This is my dog. The pace and the tempo of the exercises that I'm doing. The fucking chickens over there? Anyhow, as you can see, there's machines on this back wall. So there's a side shoulder raise machine, a chest press machine, tricep extension machine, a fly machine, and a tricep push down machine. I'll do those as a circuit. I'm not busting my ass on those, but they are being done as a circuit, more for range of motion and probably conditioning and muscular endurance than anything. It's just blood. I'm trying to get a lot of blood into the body through those. I'm not going to film every single one of those because it'd be boring as hell, but I will film the pec deck, the chest fly, and just to show you guys how I do these is a washed up meathead. I'm not trying to break records on any of these things. It's just getting the range of motion as big as I possibly can and trying to get as much blood into the muscle as I possibly can as well. All right, here we go. The weight's not heavy. It's 90 pounds. If you want any type of comparison with that, I think at my best on this thing, it might have been stacking the machine at 250 many years ago. That's not the point. You'll see what the point is. It's just right there, it's tight, right? And it's because of some of the training I've already done. So through the set, we're gonna use it as a loaded stretch, but also contraction and controlled tempo. So I'll try to keep the sternum up, and then right there, I've already picked up a little bit range of motion. So right there is probably not gonna get any better with more reps. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yield right here and then just slightly push against the handles. Not hard, I don't want it to move. I just want to flex against the handles and then do another slow rep. And then when I come back down, I'm gonna have a little more range of motion than what I had last time. So it's kind of like PNF stretching. So I just contract against it again. And now right now that's kind of gone off of my pec and it's more into the front delt, which I really don't want. So I need to change my elbow. Right there, it's back in the pec just by changing the elbow position a little bit, and then flex into it. And then right there, shoulder audible a little bit. And right there, I picked up a little more of that range of motion. Then another rep. That's about where I want it to be. Now I'll just hold that for like a 30 count. I'm not gonna do it here on the video because again, it'd just be a boring video. But hold it in there and then kind of, because I can't see it, what I'm gonna do before I end is I'm gonna bring one arm through and then I'm gonna take this one down just so I can see, holy shit, how far it is away from all the way touching. So I have a guide kind of to go off of next time. But just on that right there, this is my first time through, this is the first rotation, and there's a ton of blood in my broken pecs.